Hi guys, welcome back and a happy new year. This is my first video in this year. In this video, we are going to talk about uh, an app which we are going to see how it's going to be developed using Flutter, which is the new trend out there. So the app which we are going to develop, what it does is it fetches the data of a country and displays that information to the user. So we will be creating a list, we will be creating an API call, and we will be receiving data from the API, and we are going to display to the user. And on top of that, we are going to do some image uh, download, like the flags of the country, and showing it to the user. Let's see how we are going to do it. First of all, the API that I'm going to use is something called rustcountries.eu. So you have a lot of useful APIs over here. The one which I'm using is like if you send the uh, two letter code of a country, you will get the details of that country. So this is how it looks like. Right now I have passed the CO, which is for Colombia, so you will get the whole bunch of details about the country. We are not going to use the whole stuff. We are going to use few values out of this whole data, and we'll be displaying it to the user. Okay, I have already created the app. Let's have a look at how the app works. So I'm going to open up the iOS simulator here. Okay, this is the landing screen. You will have a list of countries, and the country code is being displayed. You can search through the list, so it filters the country list, and if once you tap on the list, it takes you to the details when which you will be downloading the details from the API. So this is what it does. You will be displaying the name, capital, population, the native name, area and region of the country, and the flag, which is an SVG image. So we will go through how this is being done using Flutter. Okay, in this tutorial I am using Android Studio as my editor for Flutter. So I have installed all the Flutter plugins and stuff, and I'm not using Visual Studio Code because I am more used to Android Studio. So I'll be using Android Studio for this purpose. So I have the code already created over here. So let's go to the data model first. So we have a country data model dot file. So here you can see I have all the properties defined which we have to use, like the name, capital, population, area, native name, region, etc. And I have created a constructor for it. Then I have created a factory method to parse from the JSON value that we are getting from the API. And I have a map variable also, which is like data. So my intention is like to display the key as well as the value together like a dictionary. So this is what you see in the UI, like name, capital, population, native name and area. So I am just displaying the key and the value side by side in a list. That's why it appears like that. This is probably not going to be used in this project. Maybe this is for future purpose. So as of now I'll be using just the data. So that's all with the data model. So you have the values which you want to show, which is being defined, and you have a factory method uh, which is used to convert the JSON information to whatever you want. Then you have an API constants file, which is nothing but defining the base URL and the path which we are going to call, just that too. Then we have the country list style class. So what this country list style class does is it will create the list view with the country details data model that we talked about. So you can see it creates a list view with a row, and you have the key and the value side by side as a row. So the output of this country list tile would be a list view with the what you say, with the rows. Maybe the class name is bit wrong. I need to it can be like country list view instead of country list tile. My intention was to just return the tile class only, but later it evolved as a list view by itself. In this class you have a property called country. This is just a map value and an initializer country list tile. So what we'll be doing is we'll be passing the data object that we have created over here, which is this, which contains all the key and the values. So this will be passed over to the country list tile class, and in the list view builder, so we will first check the item count, which is the number of values inside the map, and which will decide the number of rows in the list view. And in the item builder, we will be first getting the key out from the map, and then we will concatenate the key and the value, so that it will be like side by side, like name of the country, capital, the capital value, like that, and we will return it as a row. That's what this class does. So when you call or when you create this class, you expect to have a list with the all values being populated. Now comes the main file. So in this main file, we will be creating the initial landing page where we show the list of countries and the code. To show the list of countries and code, I am using a plugin called Flutter underscore country underscore picker. So it has a country dot file, or which contains all the country names and the country code. I'm not using the whole plugin, I'm just using a part of that plugin. First of all, I'm creating a stateful widget, and I'm creating a state and connecting my state to the stateful widget, and this is where I'm getting the details of all the countries. This country object is part of the plugin. So if you do country dot all, it will contain all the country code and necessary information of the country. Okay, so these countries will contain all the information about all the countries, like the name, code, etc. Then there is another list which is like filtered countries, which will be using for filtering and all other purposes, and this value is going to stay as like a constant. It's not going to change, but this guy is going to change. Then you have a text editing controller which we attach to the search bar, and you have a boolean variable which tells whether searching is on or off. Then we have an app bar title which initially shows a search country. Then you have a search icon. Then on tapping a country item or a item in the list, we are going to take the user to the next screen with the selected country, and we will be talking about country details a bit later. So this actually will push you to the next screen, which is the country details screen. And here also we are creating a list view. So in the list view builder, we will be using the filtered countries for the number of items, and we will be getting each country object from the filtered country and create a list style. and this is like a title and subtitle style, like your UA table view cell. So as a title I'm giving the country name, and subtitle I'm giving the ISO code. And this on tab we have already seen. When you tap, you will be taking that particular country item and passing it as a constructor parameter to your country details, and you returning the scaffold widget back. So that's all which creates the list. Now how the search bar and the other items are being done. So I have a convenience method called build the app bar. So here we'll be creating an app bar with the icon button which we have already defined. Initially it's going to be the search icon, and if the search state is off at the start, and when the users presses the search button, we need to change the state to searching true. So the code will come here, and we will change the search icon to the close icon, and we will change the app bar title to have the text field with the text controller associated with it, and having the hint text as search. And we have implemented an on changed method, like whenever the user types in, we have to execute the search function, which is the search for text method. And you have to set the other properties when a search has been started. Then if the user is pressing the close button or moving to a different screen or something, we are going to close the search, and when that happens, you'll call the search ended function. So search started, what it does is it just updates the is searching flag to true, and search ended, what it does is it resets the icon to the icon search, and changes the app bar title to the text, like which is the search country, and clears the text editing controller, and sets back the filtered countries to the original country. So that's what we talked about, like once a filter has been removed, you have to reset back the whole country data. So that's why you have two variables here, like this is the main country list which doesn't change, and this is the filtered countries which gets changed when the user searches something. And once the user is finished searching, you have to replace it with the original list of values. So that's what is happening over here. Okay, and this is the place where the actual search happens. So I'm creating a temporary list out here, and I'm using a where method, and what I'm just checking is whether the country name lowercase contains the search text, then return it as a list. So that's what it does. So and you are assigning that list back to the filtered countries, and once the state gets updated, this filtered countries will be used to create your list view. So for example, when a user searches something, this filtered countries variable is getting updated, and accordingly the UA is getting repopulated with the value. And yeah, that's all we are doing in this main file. Now when the user taps on a particular country, we are going to call the country details page, which is this. So country details page takes in a country object, or the country class which we took it from the plugin. So country object will be passed along through the initializer parameter. Here also I have a stateful widget country details, and I have created a country details state. In this state I have the country data model which we have seen already. I call it as country detail, and here we will be using another library called dio to make API calls. and I am constructing the URL over here, like we have seen the API constants. So the final URL is going to be http restcountries.eu /res/v2/alpha/ the code, the ISO code, and using this URL you're going to make the web service call. And once you receive the data back, we'll be using the factory method to convert the JSON information into your country detail object. Right now I haven't done much error handling here, it's just the positive scenario. So once the data gets updated, we have the list here. So initially I'm just checking if the country detail is nil, just show a text that the data is being loaded. And if the country detail has a value, we are going to create the image, or we are going to download the flag data, and we are going to create a list view with the country details. So first I have a container over here. In the container I have just created a column. In the column I have a widget container just to put the image. So image in a specific size I just gave 300 by 300, and here I am using another plugin called SVG picture to download the image and render it. So here this is how you do it, svg picture.network, and this value will be having the HTTP link where the image is present, and we'll be showing a loading indicator as a placeholder till the image is being downloaded. And I have provided a padding on all sides. And after that, in the column I have the country list tile, which takes in the data, the map information that we have, so which contains the key as well as the value, and this is being passed into your country list tile class, and which creates the list view and renders it into the screen. And once this is done, you will be seeing the flag information and the country details information on the screen. So that is pretty much it in what this app does. And country details screen is being loaded. You will be calling the fetch data in your init state method, so that when the screen is loaded itself, you fire the query and get the data which you needed. So yeah, so that's all we have in this app. And let's go back and see what we have done. So we have a main screen where in which we created a list view with the country code and country names, and we handle the tap gesture so that once you tap, user is taken to the next screen. Then we have implemented a search bar with a text editing controller and handling the text change methods, and we have implemented a filter logic to filter the country list based on what user has searched, and changing the states. And in the detail screen we have made the HTTP call to get the data of a particular country, then use the SVG picture to download the flag, and then create a list of key values where in which you display the details of the country. So that's all what we have done, and we have got a working app for both iOS and Android. And let's see it in action again. So this is your iOS app. So let's search something. Yeah, it works. And one more thing, the library which I am using for SVG is a bit weird because the flag is not fully rendered. So I mean, that was the one of the library I could find. Maybe you might have to change it. Let's close the search, so you can see the list is now resetted, and you can directly go and click the country also. Yeah, you should see the data: name, capital, population, native name, area, region. Now let's open up Android. You can see it's basically the same view, and here also let's do search. Okay. Cool. You have the flag, name, capital, population, native name, area, region. You can clear the search. You will see the list has been resetted. Let's try. Yeah, that's all. So I have provided the source code link in the description, and few other links on the libraries that I have used, as well as some of the documentation. Please try it out. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.